So since I finished off my first wearable crochet piece, so the purple top that I've been working on for ages, finally done with it, I thought I would start a new project, wearable project. So it's going to be a little bit of a smaller project this time. I've decided to do a hooded scarf, so it's this tutorial. And I've had it for a while, and I've also kind of thought what yarn I wanted to use, but I've not been able to decide what colorway. But I have decided now, and I can always make more once I've done it, so obviously I can use the other colorways as well if I want to. So it is this lovely hooded scarf, and hopefully I can finish it in time to use it while it's still cold. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to use this yarn here, absolutely beautiful, love this colorway, and the sparkles. And it's from Hobby, so Universe XL, and I'm using a 4mm crochet hook. It does recommend 6mm, but I just find that a little bit too big. It gets too gappy for my taste. So that's the materials I'm using, and I have already started just a little bit. So you start out working in a triangle shape, and this is the little beginning part. So that's how far I've got so far, and I'm liking how it's looking and feeling with the 4mm, so I'm just gonna stick with that. Hopefully this one won't take too long to make.
Officers are left with little they can act on. So with all of the statements and information they've gathered, officers return.
Hi guys, so this is update 2 of making the Wild Oleander Hooded Scarf. So let's get it out. I'm pretty sure I've basically finished the scarf portion of it, and I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. So we're at this point, it's not even fitting on the screen, but I'm really liking the way it's looking. So it actually has a bunch of like 3D texture, which I think is very lovely, and I'm really liking this yarn for it, so I'm glad I chose that. And I'm also really liking the colorway here. Looks lovely, and that sparkle, and I love that it's that blue sparkle rather than just like a plain silver or gold, which is nice. Well, I'm not really a gold person, but still, in principle, the fact that it's a different color sparkle I think is really lovely and unusual. So I'm loving how this is looking, and I also like the feel of it. Got a nice drape, even though I kind of went down in the hook size a little bit. I prefer the way that that looks and feels, but it still has a nice drape to it, which I think is fully because of the yarn itself. So I did kind of make a mistake, you could say, not so much a mistake, but in the pattern I was a little bit confused about the sizing, because it has different sizes in there that you can make, but it kind of mostly tells you the amount of rows to make. But I was kind of looking for the measurement more than anything, which was a little bit tricky to find at first. So at first I reached a point where the two corners here, these corners, were meeting as I was wrapping it around in the back there, and I was like, oh, is that about the size? Because it wasn't specified where I was looking in the, in my opinion, most obvious place. But I then thought, oh, must be about the right size then, because they're meeting, so I should probably move on to the next part. And then I looked further through the pattern, and I ended up finding more specific information about measurements rather than just row count and stuff like that. And it turns out, no, there was loads to go. It needed to be a lot bigger than I thought at the time. So where would that have been? Probably about there. So I still had that, obviously, on both sides. So there was still quite a bit to go, and obviously every row gets longer and longer. It's at this point now, and according to the measurement, if I'm understanding it right, I should be pretty much there now. So this should be the scarf part that's supposed to sit around the front, and I do also plan to add the fringe. And then basically now gotta connect it and then start working on the hood that's gonna obviously become the hood. So yeah, I'm definitely liking how this is turning out so far, and I'm also liking the progress speed wise on the project so far. It's not taking loads of time, but I'm getting somewhere fairly quickly, I think. Oh, and also update on the yarn. This is currently using 2 skeins of the yarn exactly. I have this left of the second one, so I think that's a pretty good amount. I'm thinking I'll need between 3 and 4 in total, so hopefully around that, and if not too much. So I have used my 3rd skein of yarn, I'm pretty sure. Just got the little end here, and this is how much I've got done. So obviously the whole scarf part of it minus the fringe, and then I'd say a good chunk of the hood part here. Obviously there's going to be quite a bit more to go, so I've basically just got to keep repeating these 2 rows, alternating until it's long enough for me to feel like it fits me as a hood. Let's just try it on. This is what it looks like. I feel like that's a nice size. Could have made it bigger, could have made it smaller, but I feel like it's quite nice. Imagine as well, it's going to obviously have that extra fringe, it's going to add to the size. And then the hood, obviously not quite long enough to put fully on, but you kind of get the idea. So it's kind of ended up getting singed in here on the neck took me a little bit to figure out what was gonna happen or what was supposed to happen in this area, but it ended up being singed in a bit, so it kind of singes in around your neck, and then I've gone back out here to make this part bigger and more drapey, especially because if it was that size all the way up, that wouldn't really be a proper hood for me. It would be too tight. But anyway, I've then added increases however I saw fit, to the point where I feel like now I can basically just keep repeating row after row, alternating the rows of course, and keep going until it's however long I feel like it needs to be. And then obviously eventually also add the, I'm gonna say ribbing, add the fringe, and making good progress I think, and I'm really enjoying working with this yarn and I like the results, so yay. Right guys, I finished it. So this is the final hood. It's really long like this, but that's because this upper part is always supposed to become a hood as well, or be used as a hood. So this is what it looks like. I really love this yarn, both the colorway but also just the yarn. I really enjoy using this, and I absolutely am going to use it more, both for, I don't know, maybe this again, but also for wearables. I really want to do a cardigan with this. It just came to mind shortly after I started because it's just really nice to work with, and I really like the colorways, also the other ones they have. So the fringe, let me just show you, ended up like this. I was debating about whether to keep the gradual effect in the colorway or kind of cut a bunch of lengths and then mix them up so it will become random, and I'm really glad that I kept it with the natural graduation of the colorway. I think that's so cool looking. I love the jiggle jiggle. So yeah, I really like the fringe as well. I'm glad I added it. Definitely add something extra to it, and obviously a bit more coverage as well. So I guess we should try it on, shall we? And I did bring the fringe all the way around to the back. Right, so we have a triangle down at the front to kind of cover the front there, and it starts to bunch up here. And then obviously it could just be a scarf, so it's really nice and cozy and warming around the neck. Or because it's so long, it could be a hood, but then easily take it down and it's literally back to just being a scarf again. So I really like that about it, and I also quickly kind of got my own ideas for my versions of these with other textures and designs in them. Anyway, that's for the future. So I'm really pleased with it. Definitely gonna be using this, especially now that we're starting to get into spring. Perfect timing. Anyway, it's done. It's another project ticked. I'm really pleased with it, and it is a wearable. It's not clothes, but it's a wearable. So I then have to decide what my next project of wearable crochet is gonna be.